What's up guys? Today we're going to be doing the beginning of a clinch series tutorial. It's been very requested, but I haven't had anybody to help me film. I can't very well demonstrate clinch work without a partner, so my wife was kind enough to come and join us today and help us out with the introduction to clinch work. And for the first video, we're specifically going to be focusing on what the hands should be doing, how to control our partner, how to feed the arms through when somebody gets control of us. And then in a couple days, you will see more clinch videos following. So guys, let's roll that intro and get the episode started. So clinch work, guys, we have to make sure that we have everything down in the lower body. That needs to be correct. But most importantly, for today's episode, we're going to be focusing on how to control our partner and what we can do if they get control of us. How are we going to get out of this position so we're not getting hucked around and tossed the entire time. So first things first, let's talk about how to properly take control of somebody around the neck. Because if I just grab her like this and I have the incorrect grip, she can force her way out, just lean back and break through. Or if I have my elbows splayed out really wide, she can very simply drop under and slip out. So what we want to make sure we do is we start off with the correct control of our partner. And she'll feel this in a second. But the very first thing we want to make sure we do, whether we have gloves on or no gloves, doesn't really make a difference, is palms connect to one another. So when I take control of the back of her neck, I want to get as deep as I can, almost wrist around the back of the neck, not here with my fingers. I get deep in and I control with this position. That's my position right there.
Do I get a neck massage after this?
Neck massage. Once we get this, we want to make sure the elbow doesn't stay splayed out to the side, but it comes in to the chest. This accomplishes two things. Number one, right now, if she tries to pull away from me, I've easily stopped her. Not because I'm using my fingers for support, but just because with my wrist folded, it's going to stop her. Number two, if she tries to move into me, my elbow is controlling her. So basically, she's caught where I want her. She can't move forward and she can't move back. Now, obviously, one hand is not enough because she can still move that way. So I take my second hand, I go over top the palm, and now from here, I squeeze my elbows tight. And if she is relaxed and she does things improperly, I can easily fold her over to my chest and drag her down to throw those head knees. So the control over the neck is paramount. If Rach locks onto me, she takes all the little tips that I just gave her, she should be able to control me quite nicely. Right now your fingers are not crossed enough. You need to get palms. There we go. Palms are tight, elbows tight. Now from there for me to pull back is not going to happen, and to push forward is not going to happen. Really, the only thing that's left for me right now is to start doing some hand fighting to get my arm through. So you can pause for a moment. What we're trying to do here now is we are trying to find a way to get one of our arms through her arms. Basically swimming arms through. If she takes control of me and I simply leave my shoulders the way they are and I try and just fight my arm up, even with my strength difference, I can't get through. I need to relax and get one of my shoulders under her arm here. I need to look for the one that's the easiest to attack. If she tries to block me with this arm, she comes down like this, the other arm will be free. So I take this one arm, I feed it in, and I try and slip my shoulder deep enough that I can get through. Now she might try to block me, little spin here. She might try and block me with the other side now. But that's okay because I'm going to feed this shoulder in and fight through. Now, I have the advantage in this position. I have two arms in, I have the full plum. This is a terrible position for her, so she fights one arm in. As soon as she gets it in, ideally, I want to control this arm. Spin again here. If I don't control this arm, and it's a full Muay Thai contest, she can very easily elbow me. If I just keep my hand like this, or whatever I'm doing, bang, I'm gonna get hit. So we control the bicep. That's a very important part. Now from here, if I want to, I can try and fight my way in. But if I don't want to, I can just control from here and then work on off balancing, throwing my knees, whatever else we're going to do. Now, let's move on from this for a moment and let's talk about the hip positioning and what the feet should be doing. Very often, when I do clinch work with somebody who's not a Muay Thai athlete, they make a big mistake. And the big mistake is they try to balance themselves out by pulling their hips back. So if I take control of Rach and she goes, oh, okay, I want to get some distance, she pulls away. This is terrible because now it's so easy for me to knee. If she takes control of me, I should have my legs parallel, not one in front of the back, in front of the other, and I push my hips into her hips. Now if she tries to knee me in the stomach, it's going to be very difficult for her. She can come to the side, but she can't come up the middle unless she takes a step backwards. When she takes that step backwards, that creates an opportunity for me. Right here, legs out wide for me. Right here, it's difficult for me to do anything really substantial. I can try and fight through, but if she's got a strong grip here, again, it'll be a little bit challenging, but as soon as she steps backwards, it opens up a position for me here to get through. And then from there again, I can now easily go for a sweep or something along those lines. So remember that when you set up for clinch work, you walk to your partner, don't fall to this stance, just walk straight in, hips square, I grab one arm, she grabs one, bicep to control and make sure the elbow can't come across. If I go to throw my elbow, she can just flare her elbow up and she blocks me. It's an easy way for her to stop me. And from here, all we've done is just learn nice and smooth. This is not a muscle strength exercise. It's not, you're gonna be fatigued after 20 seconds. It should be, I feed an arm through, and then she feeds one through. And I feed one through, and she feeds one through. And I can try and block her with my elbow if I want to stop her from getting two. But if she gets two, she needs to make sure that I can't just push myself away, one hand over the other, and she controls me. My head stays up nice and high. Now from here, let's move on to one other aspect of control, which we can utilize or to break out of this position. Because if I can't get through here, if she's so good at blocking me, this is gonna make my life a nightmare for the next, whatever it is, minute, 30 seconds, however long the remainder of the round is. So how do I get out of this position here if I can't feed my arm through? Well, number one, I take two hands, I come up to the face, and I very simply just stretch her out. She's not gonna like that. More likely than not, she's going to release. But if she doesn't release, and we stretch up to this position, then I can start feeding knees in. When you do this, if you're doing clinch work in the gym, palms are fine. If it's a fight, you can utilize your gloves and be really mean with the laces. Pushing with one arm is sometimes not enough, especially if she has her head buried down already. It's gonna be hard for me to get in, so I need to back it up with the other hand. And then from there, shove it out. This is a very, very mean version of this technique, so don't do it to people that you like, because they will not appreciate it. All right, the other option, when she takes control of me, if for some reason that's not working too, she's buried her head so deep, I just can't get in, I can't escape through, then I look to the hips, keep controlling me nice and tight, take my hands, I wrap them around the body, and I connect my finger to the outside meaty portion of my hand. This still works with gloves. I push my hips towards her as I squeeze my elbows together, and now from here, because I've closed the distance, she's lost the opportunity to take advantage of pulling me down and kneeing me in the head. She could touch my body, but for me here, it's very easy to execute a throw. Although we're not going to do throws in this video, the throws will come in the next video. But if somebody takes control of the back of your head, number one, feed the arms through. Number two, push them away. Number three, control their back, squeeze the elbows together, and lock your hips up nice and tight. And remember, guys, that controlling the back of the neck is not done with the fingers, it's done with the palm. Not with the elbow splayed out, but with the elbow deep, so that it's easy to control them, and they can't move forward and back, and they can't escape with just the smallest movement. And one little bonus technique, guys, let's switch positions here. I found that I can actually pull this off. This isn't a technique that is impossible to do. It's more, you have to time it. So if she has one hand around the back of my neck, we'll go there, I have here, and we're controlling biceps. So we already talked about this. If you get to this position, and at any point you feel like this arm is relaxed, not relaxed in the sense that you can just sort of bump it off, like it'll just fall if you kind of push it, but enough that she's not squeezing. You don't need to squeeze when you do your clench work. You're just fairly strong and stable. But if you feel like at any point there's a little bit of relaxing, you take your glove or your open hand, you slide it under to the tricep, just above the elbow. You punch this arm up, as at the same time you bend your knees, then you slip under. You get to the outside of their arm. From here, you just gable grip, connect your hands together, and you just squeeze tight. And from here, if she tries to push back and fight her arm back to the same position, does it feel like it's easy?
No.
No, it shouldn't feel easy. We spin around. She's caught in this awful position here, and what I can do is I can just hold her and just slap side knees into that tushy. That's a technique that you've probably seen Buakaw do a couple times. He gets those knees driving into somebody's bum. Again, one more time, whole thing. She grabs control of me. We're moving around, we're doing our thing. I feel like the opportunity's there to lift and drop. Get deep right away, lock up one hand to the other, squeeze tight, and inch your way around as close to the back as you can. So guys, that was pretty much just the hand fighting position, the upper body of clench work. Make sure you give the video a like, definitely get subscribed, because we're gonna have our next video talk more about the throws and the lower body, how you can off balance your opponent. That's the hard aspect of clench work, which we'll be covering very soon. As always guys, train hard. We'll see you back here soon for another video.